Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chase and this is All Things Random. Today we are looking at an alternative to the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Tiffany Blue. Now clearly you guys probably saw the thumbnail. Today we are looking at the Mathey-Tissot. This specifically is a Swiss automatic watch, and as we go through it, you'll see that they sort of had to cut some corners. Now when it comes to Swiss-made watches, I think the rule of thumb is 60% of the materials in the watch has to be from Switzerland. The other 40% can be sourced from other places in the world, mostly China, and then it has to be built and assembled in Switzerland. Now, I'm gonna tell you that in no way can I compare this to something like the Rolex, truly, and in no way can I compare it to something also like a Pagani design. It's funny because if I look at the Pagani design, which is a little cheaper than this watch, the quality control and the materials are gonna be closer to the Rolex. However, if you have that need to have that Swiss name on the dial, this may scratch that itch. Honestly, I don't think it's a bad watch. I've been wearing it for about a week and a half now, so there's gonna be some scratches on the bracelet. But you know what? That being said, let's just flip the camera around and hop right into this review. Okay, and here is the watch in all of its glory. It is extremely beautiful. I love that light blue wave dial that they offer on this. I just think it pops great. Now, the difference between this and something like the Rolex Oyster Perpetual is it's more of a flat pastel color, so it doesn't really have a whole lot of gloss off of it. And that sort of is similar to the Islander watch from Long Island Watches. But I really love just the metallic blue that's offered here. Now you can see that it does have a Cyclops window over the date at the 3 o'clock position. Now let's just go over this watch in its entirety first. Now the case size on this is gonna be 42 millimeters in diameter, so it is slightly larger. It is thin though at only 9 millimeters thick. You can see it has a beautiful sort of cushion case there. Not really a whole lot of hard edges, and you can see that it's a high polished 316L stainless steel. Now this does have a 20 millimeter lug width, and the lug to lug on this is just under 50 millimeters, so it's not going to sit very big on the wrist. It does have applied indices all the way around. It does have a beautiful wave pattern along the back, and this is a Swiss automatic watch. Now the bracelet here, now this is where they sort of had to cut a little bit of corners when it comes to this watch. Now the bracelet here is a solid linked bracelet. However, it is hollowed in links. You can see right here, they are hollow. So that is a little disappointing. There is a high polished center link, brushed outer links with high polished sort of outers right here on the links. Just gives it a nice little pop. Push pins right here hold everything together, and another point of contention is a pressed clasp. This sort of reminds me of the old Rolexes before they did the mill clasp. Is it that big a deal? Not really. There is a lot of micro adjustments here, so you are gonna get a great fit once you get it fitted to your wrist. Now let's talk about what's inside. Now inside of this is gonna be the STP caliber STP-1-11. Now this is gonna be based on the ETA 2824-2, 26 joule, 28,800 vibrations per hour. Does offer 44 hours of power reserve and only 50 meters of water resistance for this watch. You can see right there it says 5 ATM. Now that being said, this does not have a screw down crown, but it does have hacking and hand winding. Let's go ahead and pull this to the first position, and you can adjust the date. Again, right there at the 3 o'clock position, pull it again, and then you can adjust the time. I guess this does not have hacking, which is sort of depressing if it's based off the ETA 2824-2, because that does have hacking. Let's go ahead and flip this around to the midnight and watch that date change over. Does start to pop over right there, and then pops over completely before it hits the midnight. A little bit depressing, not really too bad. Let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons about this watch. Now, again, a pro is this is technically a Swiss-made watch. Swiss-made, Swiss automatic movement, having the STP-1-11 based on the ETA 2824-2. So it is a Swiss automatic. Not really a decorated movement on the back, but it does have an open case back on this watch. Now, you can see, I don't know if you can see right there, we haven't really talked about the glass on the front, but this does not offer a sapphire crystal. This is a sapphire coated mineral crystal, a little bit depressing there, but again, not really too bad. I mean, a lot of watches at this price range, especially micro brands, some offer mineral glass, most at this price range are offering sapphire. Honestly, again, let's talk about the Pagani design, maybe the Parnis. Yes, those are Chinese-made watches. However, they all offer solid in-links, solid links. Now, these links are solid, but these are hollowed in-links. But the Pagani design, the Parnis, do offer solid in-links. They do offer sapphire glass. I mean, again, the difference between mineral glass or sapphire-coated mineral glass and sapphire is like $7. Like, really, like, it doesn't cost a whole lot for me. Myself, if I wanted to replace this, it's like a $7 piece of sapphire. It's really not that expensive. At this price range, they could have done better. Now, let's just go ahead and toss this on the wrist. And here is the watch on my 7¼ inch wrist. It does really fit nicely, and I have worn this quite a bit because I really just do like the blue. Now, all the micro adjustments along this press clasp, again, you can get a perfect fit. I mean, it's really hard not to. A lot of watches like this, you know, it's going to be either loose or it's going to be tight. Honestly, this fits perfectly on the wrist for me. You know, it's cold outside and it's hot on the inside, and honestly, I haven't had any issues with this at all with any type of discomfort. Really love the blue, really love that wave dial, and in fact, when it comes to this sort of color right here, and you can see right here it pops in the light, it does have more of a metallic blue, which I really do appreciate. Now, is this an alternative to the Rolex Tiffany blue, the Oyster Perpetual? Well, not really, but if you do like the light blue, you know, it does give you sort of a more affordable Swiss automatic range for this type of watch. And it does have sort of a dressy, more sporty appeal with the high polish, with the brushed, you know, as opposed to just all brushed. So it does have a sports aesthetic. Really disappointing that it only has 50 meters water resistance, but it's an everyday wear. If you want to jump in the pool, you could. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could, and you could wear it every day and not have to worry about it. But what do you guys think about this watch? Do you think it's worth I think it was $380 on sale. It was under $500 for sure, but this thing retails at, I think, $700. But again, nobody's going to spend that on this watch. I think under $400 is not unreasonable for a Swiss automatic, but I think they could have done a little bit better, because with the competition on the market right now for more affordable watches, I think that they really need to up their game. Now, what do you guys think about the watch? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you like the fact that it's a Swiss automatic for under $400? Do you hate the fact that it has hollow in-links, right? That it has a pressed clasp? I mean, there's some things that honestly I think that is just unnecessary. Like, if you are going to have a watch that is going to be Swiss made, I mean, honestly, I would have rather paid $500 for the watch than under $500 for the watch. And even this watch was on sale at Jomashop. Normally it's like an $800 watch on sale for under $500. So it's one of those things where it's like, could they have done solid in-links? Well, of course they could. I mean, again, China has been doing solid in-links on almost every single one of their watches for a long time. If I look at something like a Pagani design Daytona, right, that does use a Seiko Mecha Quartz movement, so it's not an automatic, but they're like $90, and it has a solid 316L stainless steel case. It has solid in-links, solid links, and a milled clasp. So honestly, I think that Switzerland can probably up their game on the more affordable end watches. And I think that, you know, that this watch is probably just a little too much. Not sure if I'm going to keep the watch. Not sure if it really scratches that itch. I am looking at something more like the Long Island watch, the Islander, that is sort of an homage to the Oyster Perpetual. And they do have something called the Robin's Egg, which, you know, is a sort of the same Tiffany blue. I am looking at that one. That one I think is $350. and it does have, I believe, an automatic Miyota movement in it. And honestly, I would have rather paid $350 for that watch and had solid everything with a Miyota movement than have it have this Swiss name. Anyway, if you like videos and videos like this, hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment on the content you guys would like to see on this channel. I do have the other channel, All Things Mind, Body, and Soul. If you guys are interested in what I do in my personal life and sort of the behind the scenes of the things that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis, there's a link down in the description for that channel. It's really just a channel that kind of explains how I deal with stress, some of the things that are happening in the background. And it would be cool if you guys head over there and check out some of the videos and hit the subscribe button over there. Also, make sure you guys are hitting that notification bell so you can be notified when I drop that next video. Until next time.